The RA to me is a platform for my company as well as my employees to gain the experience, the knowledge to go out and be the best of ourselves as a company, individually. The professional development and as well as the networking allows us to really bring home a better product for ourselves and the customers that we service. And without the RA, we wouldn't be there. And we're extremely fortunate to have such a great organization that allows us to better ourselves with the platform that is needed. The Restoration Industry Association is, and it always has been, the platform that we've always needed, and we're really, really glad we're a part of it. In the environmental service industry that we deal with today, the biggest risk comes from actually not being trained. People just saying yes to jobs that they don't understand. We don't understand that the safety and the health of our technicians really, really impacts just the dynamic of our company. And we have to understand that that risk is an association of our training and the platform. And if we're able to go into a job and just look at the job and say, can we do this? I think it will benefit all of us. A small company like us can actually make a bigger impact by joining associations like the American Biorecovery Association, the RA, and that's because we're one voice. So when you look at a small company where we might have 6, 10, 12 employees, you think your voice isn't heard. You know, your certifications, everything you try and you work so hard kind of falls on deaf ears. But when you belong to an association that has such a powerful voice, the leaders in the industry, and they come together, that one voice is heard, and it makes you a part of something that could be grander and something so big that is just beneficial. When it comes to environmental services and adding that service into your platform, education and training is key. But the thing about it is when you look at mold, water, fire, and other avenues in your business already, the platform's already there. That foundation is already strong. You just now have to develop it a little bit more in a specialized field in that training to really operationally be able to handle some of your bigger jobs on the environmental issues. You might have to obtain some permits. You might have to get some more training, but overall, that foundation of your company is strong and you have the right workforce. Jumping into an environmental service industry when it comes to high hazard, bioterrorism, or chemical, it's not that hard if you have that strong foundation. So by starting your company and by making that stronger foundation from the start, it's going to be much easier and cost effective to jump into it later in the game. When you expand your company into a biological services or environmental services, one of the key foundations is talk about OSHA. Giving you a strong foundation with the Occupational Safety Administration, okay? For example, the 40-hour HAZWOPER. The 40-hour HAZWOPER gives you that foundation to respond to emergencies that deals with biological, chemical, nuclear, and that's a great foundation to protect your workforce. Now, when you go into industry specialized fields, as you can say, think about the S540, which is the crime and trauma standard from the ISRC. They have the TCST. That is the course that ISRC put together that gives you the foundation of crime and trauma cleaning. Then they are coming out with the standard now regarding drugs cleanup for meth, fentanyl, and certain things like that. You have so many certifications and education out there that will benefit you. You just got to continue to look at professional development, continue to strive to be the better of yourself. And when you look, don't just look in the industry, look outside, look at local colleges, because think about it. If we're walking into a chemical, for example, chemical exposure, what are you dealing with? From chlorine to like anything that you deal with, what are you dealing with and how do you deal with that? It might not be just related to something you learn in an industry-related field training, but yet you might learn about it in college. How does infectious disease work? What type of viruses, what type of bacterials are you dealing with, okay? Is that non-envelope compared to an envelope? There's so much information out there, and all I need people to understand and people to see is when we go into a job, you don't want to be tunnel vision, okay? And when you gear towards just having one set of training certificates, you end up becoming tunnel visioned and understanding that you can get sick that way. You need that general, that broad, and be able to look at it in multifaceted ways and understand that you're not just dealing with a typical suicide. It was an overdose with fentanyl. So how do you approach that without understanding? If you just focused on the trauma aspect of it, the suicide, you might end up getting exposed to fentanyl and getting hurt. This is why when you deal with environmental services, and any type of crime or trauma scene cleanup, you need to understand that not one certification gives you an all-encompassing way to actually do that job. Go out, explore the industry, get the most training you can have, and that is going to lead you to success, and that's going to drive your business to be the best you can be.